With insurance companies is not fun. I understand that. Dealing with my wife trying to have a prophylactic double mastectomy when her family had a history of breast cancer, but she didn't have the BRAC testing done, or she did, but it came back inconclusive because technology had not caught up. And we had to fight the insurance company. And at first she was on Cobra, and then we were on insurance, and it was expensive and navigating insurance. And I get the frustrations people have with insurance companies. United Health Insurance, Brian Thompson's company, denied more claims than every other insurance company in America. So I can understand why some aggrieved person might wish him harm, if not want to kill him. In fact, the bullet casings found at the crime scene had notes, had words on them that mirrored a book about insurance companies and taking action against insurance companies. It appears that there is a correlation there. The shell casings had delay, deny, and defend written on them, which was also the title of a book from 2010 by Jay Feinman, an insurance professor criticizing insurance practices. The subtitle, Why Insurance Companies Don't Pay Your Claims and What You Can Do About Them. Now, no one's saying that guy did it. There's a picture of who they think the murderer is in a hoodie. He's at least a person of interest they're looking for. Appears to be a young person. What's notable about this, though, is I get the frustrations with dealing with insurance. I have lived that life. Not just trying to save my wife's life, but after her prophylactic mastectomy, we continued to rely on the care of a plastic surgeon who I think actually didn't have our best interests at heart and ultimately had to change. And we had to fight insurance companies over redoing surgeries. There were surgeries done, and then the plastic surgery related to my wife's recovery didn't hold, and it had to be done multiple times again. It was awful, and fighting insurance all the time. And now my wife, we have a very good insurance company now through my work, and even now we sometimes have to fight because the medicine that keeps my wife alive is a very specific medicine, and oftentimes there are problems with insurance company reauthorizations despite her now being on it 8 years, and you got to pick up the phone and go through phone waiting hell. I get it. I get people's anger. What I don't get, however, is how people can process all that and translate into Brian Thompson, the CEO of UnitedHealth, got what he deserved. But that's exactly what's happening. And it is a dangerous, dangerous trend on the left as these people turn violent. And we need to review some of that violence because it is actually important for you to understand that the left has been historically violent. The left, we are lectured repeatedly, is not as much a threat as the white nationalists out there. Stop! Sorry, firing up accidentally a hold audio. The left in this country in the 1970s, there were bombings every week in California from environmental activists. We've had a mass assassination attempt against Republican members of Congress. We've had left-wing activists try to shoot up Congress itself, the House of Representatives. We've had bombs planted at the State Department. We've had the Weather Underground. The left historically in this country turns to violence. What happened after the election was a lot of progressive activists and a lot of reporters decided that Twitter was too violent and nasty of a place. There were too many neo-Nazis. There were too many right-wing racists and MAGA people. And so they went to a new social media outlet called Blue Sky. It had been around for a little while, very small. But now you got MSNBC even promoting Blue Sky as an alternative to Twitter. You still tweet. It looks like Twitter. It's designed by the people who designed Twitter. It looks very similar. But without all the MAGA people there, there's more robust banning of people and censoring of people there. And all these people decided they had to get off Twitter because Twitter was too nasty, too violent. And what has happened? They have gone to the website Blue Sky and they are celebrating the murder of an insurance executive. No, I'm not making that up. Let me read you a tweet from Taylor Lawrence, who is the mentally deranged former technology reporter for the New York Times and Washington Post. Quoting, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. And she retweeted someone on Blue Sky, Ginny, quote, hypothetically, would it be considered an actionable threat to start emailing other insurance CEOs a simple "you're next"? Completely unrelated to current events, by the way. And then there was someone named Stu who highlighted somebody on Blue Sky saying the gunman is at large, so if you see anything, no, you didn't. Protect this person. Also, do more. That's a hero. That's my hero. And Ken Klippenstein, a left-wing reporter, highlighting, today we remember the legacy of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson, and he has a claim denial rate graph for insurance companies showing UnitedHealthcare is the highest. These are terrible people. A professor at Columbia University who identifies himself as a trauma expert who is anti-violence and votes against genocide. He tweeted, today we mourn the death of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson. Gunned down, today we mourn the deaths of the 68,000 Americans who needlessly die each year so insurance company executives like Brian Thompson can become millionaires, except his data is wrong. It's over-exaggerated by socialist healthcare advocates. It's not actually accurate data. This man claims he's anti-violence and he's cheering on the death, the murder of a husband and father because he happens to be the CEO of an insurance company. They left Twitter to go to Blue Sky because Twitter was too nasty for them, and they're celebrating the death of an insurance CEO. I, my friends, have had problems with insurance companies and have had to fight with them to keep my wife alive. I do not wish this man dead, and yet someone on the left decided to murder him. And how do I know it's on the left? Because it's obvious. They are the ones cheering this on. And by the way, I want to point out to you this wild pattern. You will not be surprised to learn that the people celebrating the murder of an insurance company CEO are the same people celebrating October 7th. They are the same people who celebrated the death of Jews in Israel. They are the same people who condemned Israeli violence in Gaza. They are the exact same people. In this country, the left has a repeated history of violence. We have environmental activists, we have these healthcare activists, and you have members of the media celebrating these people as heroic. You had the New York Times give a fawning profile of a man who wrote a book on how to blow up pipelines. They are turning violence. And look no further than the reaction from the left to the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. Look at the lecturing tones of members of the mainstream media, from CBS to ABC to MSNBC, lecturing Donald Trump as if you got what you deserve because of the tone. These people are not just turning to violence, they built an entire media culture designed to pat them on the back for their turn to violence. Taylor Lawrence is the nut job who attacks people for quote-unquote raw dogging the air, meaning people walk around without a face mask on. It's 2024 and she thinks we should all still be masked up. She is a neurotic who has bullied people online while complaining about online bullies. She's celebrating the death of the CEO. She put up the picture of the Blue Cross Blue Shield Association CEO for no reason at all, shortly after the news broke of a assassination of an insurance executive. The New York Times and the Washington Post put that lady into prominent technology writing positions. They confused insanity and genius, which probably explains the other problems those news outlets are having. These people are nuts. And they disproportionately dominate the thinking of the Democratic Party right now. They're turning violent before our eyes. And they continue to masquerade and say, well, the Biden Justice Department, the one that Joe Biden says persecutes people, says that white nationalists and Republicans are the ones we have to worry about. No, we're seeing who we have to worry about. The very people who claim they're scared to death about authoritarianism in this country, the very people who claim to worry about creeping right-wing violence in this country, they're the ones we have to worry about. A husband and father is dead. Children have lost their father. A wife has lost her husband. A company has lost its chief executive. And these people are celebrating the murderer as a hero. Something has profoundly broken people when they can look on the taking of an innocent life and rationalize that, well, he's not really innocent, he deserved it, because he made decisions they disagreed with. The Nazis never looked themselves in the mirror and thought they were the bad guys. Pol Pot never looked himself in the mirror and thought, I'm a bad guy. And these people do not look themselves in the mirror and think they're the bad guy. They all think they're the hero. And one of the narratives of profound evil in the world is how often the evil people consider themselves doing things for the greater good. Now we can understand why they're all at blue sky, so they can plot their evil together and cheer it on.